We are currently in Woodland Cemetery in Dayton, Ohio. This cemetery is the home of the final resting place of the Wright brothers, as well as some other notable graves that we'll be taking a look at today. Thank you for watching another production from Whitdock's Famous Graves in History. Woodland Cemetery proved to be a treasure trove of history, and whether it's a local legend or an internationally known person, this cemetery has a vast representation of accomplishments by those laid to rest here. So let's pay our respects to a few of those people. Although I have a longer video about the Wright brothers already posted, they are buried in this cemetery and I wanted to visit them again. Aviation pioneers Orville and Wilbur Wright flew the first manned airplane in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. James Ritty owned a saloon in Dayton. After his employee would pocket his profits instead of depositing them, he invented the first practical cash register. When his cash register business didn't prosper, he sold it to John H. Patterson. One of the more heartbreaking stories of this cemetery and that I have ever heard is the tale of Johnny Morehouse. The story goes that Johnny was playing with his dog by the Miami and Erie Canal when he fell in. The dog tried to rescue Johnny but was unable to do so. After Johnny's burial in Woodland, the dog supposedly stayed by his grave for weeks. The sad story was reflected in his grave marker, depicting the dog keeping a watchful eye over Johnny. After he carried a wounded soldier to a place of shelter across a fiery field, First Lieutenant Charles Bickham was awarded the Medal of Honor by President Theodore Roosevelt. Paul Laurence Dunbar was a poet and writer. Born in Dayton, his parents had actually been enslaved. He began writing as a child and was one of the first African American writers to be internationally known. Unfortunately, he died of tuberculosis at age 33. There is also a lot in the cemetery with the final resting place of soldiers, and a monument was placed to honor their service. There is a uniqueness about this cemetery that I enjoyed, and not only is there an abundance of history, but you can see in the monuments that they reflect an era of a time that is past. Really enjoying my visit here to Woodland Cemetery in Dayton, Ohio today. There's a little rain today, a little dreary, but all in all, not a bad day. You can really tell the history and the age of this place. This is a gold mine of history here in Dayton, and I would definitely recommend a visit to Woodland Cemetery. Now we visit the Patterson family plot, which is marked with a large monument with the names of the family members. Do you remember me talking about the failing cash register company? Well, it was purchased by John Henry Patterson, who used it to found the National Cash Register Company. Frank Stewart Patterson was in the armed forces as a test pilot. He lost his life during a training mission. The Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is partially named after him. This 29,000-pound rock was brought from Erma Bombeck's home in Arizona and has become a memorial to her. Erma Bombeck was a writer whose columns appeared in over 800 newspapers at the time of her death. Elizabeth Richter was the most famous madam in the city of Dayton. I did a larger piece on her. I would recommend checking that out in my previous videos. John Ritty is brother to James, who we visited earlier, and helped patent the design of the first practical cash register. Reverend L. Langstroth is considered to be the father of American beekeeping. Langstroth patented the first movable frame beehive. Although he was credited with the patent, he never earned any royalties as his invention was widely copied. Now, we do have more notable graves on the way, but before we get there, I did want to show you some of the landscape of the cemetery. And this is a very old place, and you can see here even some of the designs that you'll see in the monuments are just things that you don't normally see nowadays. So just wanted to take a moment and show you all that. And now we will go visit a few more notable graves. Edward Deeds is buried in the largest private mausoleum in the cemetery. Not only did he work with the Wright brothers, he was the president of the National Cash Register Company. Our next visit takes us into the mausoleum, where you will see some stunning art in the form of beautiful stained glass. Charles Kettering was an inventor who owned over 180 patents. He had a hand in developing many automotive advances that we still use today, such as the electrical starting motor and leaded gasoline. He was also responsible for the invention of Freon, which is still used in air conditioning. You know, there are a few things that stick out to me after my visit to Woodland Cemetery in Dayton. The first part is the history. The history in this place is just unbelievable, from how the people we visited impacted history. There's just a wide variety of fame and honor in here. The second thing that really struck me is how many inventors are actually here. Dayton, I mean, it must have been sort of the gathering spot for some of the innovation that we see even through history and today. There's just a lot of things that were invented in Dayton that influence our culture today. So I hope you enjoyed our visit. Like I said, a lot of history here, and I just want to take another moment here at the end of the video. Thank you. Words cannot convey how I feel right now. And we've just had a large amount of growth, and the little community that I have surrounding my channel, it means a lot. I love your comments. I love hearing from you. Thank you again. If you haven't subscribed, join us. I would love to have you with me. We are a growing channel and a growing community, so please click that subscribe button and join me. Thank you once again for everything. I greatly appreciate it. Please search for Whit Docs on Facebook and Instagram. I document some of my journeys there as well. Again, you'll never know what this means to me. Thank you so much for following me. I greatly appreciate it.